Zimbabwe's hoped-for peaceful election erupted into violence in the capital Harare as soldiers tried to disperse stone-throwing opposition supporters. Several people died when troops opened fire. The opposition MDC alliance is convinced that a delay in announcing the presidential results shows the governing ZANU-PF party has rigged Monday's poll.
We are not a violent people, but what we need is a transparent election.
I want my vote!
Zimbabwe's president has laid the blame for the violence squarely at the feet of the MDC.
We hold the opposition MDC alliance and its whole leadership responsible for this disturbance of national peace.
Parliamentary results show Mnangagwa's ZANU-PF with a big majority, but the Election Commission hasn't declared the presidential outcome.
The returns for most of the presidential results are actually here with us in the command center. But I've been told that some of the agents for the 23 presidential candidates have not yet presented themselves to Secretariat.
EU election monitors are urging the ZEC to act quickly.
The longer it lasts to count, the more lack of credibility comes up.
MDC leader and Mnangagwa's rival for the presidency, Nelson Chamisa, took to Twitter to accuse the ZEC of manipulating the ballot, but claimed to have won the popular vote. Later, his spokesman condemned the deployment of soldiers.
There is no justification whatsoever for the brutality we experience today. Let us all maintain peace in the country whilst respecting the rights of citizens.
Mnangagwa had intended the election to show a stable country open to foreign investment. Violence on the streets is not the image he wanted. Evelyn Laverick, Euronews.
And joining us now live from Harare is Pindai Dube, a journalist from our sister channel African News. Pindai, you're there on the ground. What more can you tell us about these clashes?
Yes, thank you. There were a lot of clashes in downtown Harare. It started in the morning when a group of MDC supporters, the opposition, approached the hotel where the votes are being counted. What they want exactly is that they are not happy. They believe elections were rigged by ZANU-PF. They were not expecting that the outcome, especially in the parliamentary elections which have been announced. During the campaigns, there were a lot of people who attended the MDC rallies, especially in Harare and other rural areas where where ZANU-PF is stronghold. So this is how it happened. They just came and the police confronted them. There were clashes from there.
Yeah, and so we talk about these allegations of vote rigging. Is there any base to these claims?
Yeah, because what happened initially, before the elections, the opposition demanded the voters' roll, and it was not provided by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. And also the observers yesterday, both from this SADC Africa Union, they said that although the elections were initially peaceful, they believe that there was intimidation, especially in rural areas where ZANU-PF is strong, where the traditional leaders were intimidating rural voters. And also they believe that the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission took time to release the V forms which are used at polling station. And also the opposition claims that the figures which are being released are different from the ones which are at the polling stations.
Yeah, and Pindai, when you were there on the street and you saw the heavy-handedness of the soldiers, was there a feeling that Mnangagwa is actually not keeping his promise of stepping away from, Mugabe's rule, that this is a setback?
Yes, definitely. That's how people felt. They said this is worse. Mugabe also, some were saying Mugabe was a dictator, but he has never sent soldiers in the streets of Harare to kill them. So they believe, when I spoke to some MDC supporters, they said it's better to die than to live under Mnangagwa, who has shown that he doesn't tolerate the opposition by killing them in the streets. So they are very bitter, and people believe this will worsen the Zimbabwe situation, which had free and fair elections, by sending soldiers to crush the opposition voices. So, but now the police claim that 3 people were killed, but the opposition and the other civic society group, even newspapers, independent newspapers in Zimbabwe, they said about 6 people were killed, but although the police and government claims only 3.